Tuesday, July 18, 2023. Mr. Adams?
Roll call. Mr. Petrie.
Here.
Ms. Terry.
Here.
Mr. Ray.
Here.
Mr. Hofer.
Here.
Mrs. Frola.
Here. Okay, if we could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance. You. Okay, at this time, Mrs. Shelley, would you introduce our group?
Miss Weekland, are you here?
There
There she is.
back there.
Didn't I see? Yeah, you can go to the podium. So, Ms. Weekland took a group of kids to the national park to do, to learn about the different national parks, and she has a little presentation for us and talk a little bit about it.
Do you have it, Dustin?
Yeah, do you want me just to flip through?
Yeah, just flip through it. So I had the privilege of going out west with 9 people, including myself. We left on Monday, June 26th. We left out of Cleveland to Chicago to Vegas, and he's just going to flip through there. Our itinerary included the pink coral sand dunes in Utah, which is right there, and that's really hot and really high. And these guys got to go surfing on these boards that were waxed. They got to go down those.
Sandboarding.
Sandboarding. It was really fun. These are pictures of Zion. I'm sorry, I lied. Bryce. This is Bryce. So Bryce was really fun. We hiked the rim, went down into the amphitheater. That was our official second day. Our third day, we went to Bryce, and those will get there eventually. This is still Zion. You can just click through them. We had 4 adults, 3 other adults, including myself. So Caleb, who is a former Springfield student, to graduate, class of
2013.
2013.
Okay.
Mary Sayers, who's the secretary of our building, and a friend of mine from our gym. And then I had 5 students. 2 of them are here tonight. Chelsea Davis, Tyler Walters. Honestly, I couldn't have had a better group of people. I got very, very lucky. There were some other trips, other tour groups that did not have it as good as we did. We had polite kids. They were so behaved. And we had an excellent tour guide who taught us so much about oh my gosh, what do they call it? What's the religion out there? No, there's a lot of tribal stuff.
Mormons,
The Mormons, but there are other names.
Latter-day Saints.
Church of Latter-day Saints. So we learned a lot about the Church of Latter-day Saints because we were on the bus a lot, traveling. So the third day, like I said, we went to Zion, which was, every day was gorgeous. You were like, oh my gosh, these pictures don't do it justice. The fourth day, we left Utah to go to Arizona, and that's this day. We drove to Page, went all the way to Page. We saw the Vermilion Cliffs. We saw the Navajo Ridge where the California condors, where they nest under there. And then we got to take a boat ride. So they took us to the dam, to the Glen Canyon Dam, and we came out at the bottom, and we were on these rafts, and we got to go down the Colorado River. It was hot, and it was long, and it was beautiful, though.
We went right over. We went within the river, like the raft. We went around the horseshoe bend.
Oh, okay.
So everybody that was at the overlook was watching us from ground, like we was on the raft, and we were just waving up
Yeah.
high.
It was beautiful. I mean, everything you looked at was just, you got to see horses and like the bighorn sheep and all these Navajo petroglyphs, and that's the dam. And we had to wear hard hats from the time we got out of the bus to go down because they said sometimes rocks fall. So yeah, we got the hard hats are only to get into the raft. We were actually on that boat with a group from Warren, from a high school out there, which we weren't paired up with. We were paired up with the Girl Scouts of America from West Central Florida, and a group out of Dayton, Carroll High School, I think, out of Dayton.
Yeah,
so they
Carroll
paired the 3 of us, our group, up in our bus, and we did everything with them. That water's 47 degrees.
Yes. Everybody was crying. We mentioned cryotherapy.
That was Caleb who was mentioning cryotherapy. But it was so hot, yeah, like I stood in the water too. It was beautiful. The day after the trip, well, the night of this, we drove to Flagstaff, Arizona, and we did a walking tour, walking ghost tour through Flagstaff. That was kind of cool. And then the next day we went to the Grand Canyon. So that was like, the big hurrah. The Grand Canyon is just, if you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. Pictures just don't do it justice. So we were there walking along the rim. We never went down into the canyon at all, from what I understand. We were on the southern rim, if anybody's curious. The southern rim. The next day, which was Saturday then, we went to Sedona. And we got to hike a little bit, not much, but we hiked a little bit in Sedona. And we traveled to Phoenix and it was 112 degrees. So we're like, our tour guide was like, yeah, we'll go to a park. And I'm like, no. We're gonna turn into flames if we do that. It was hot. So we went to the mall and we hung out at the mall for a little while. We did. We hung out at the mall because it was air conditioned. And then we flew home. We flew home at 10 o'clock at night, our time, which was 1 o'clock in the morning, your time. By the time we got in on Sunday morning, it was like 8:30 in the morning, and we were tired.
And it was rain. Once we went to Cleveland, I'm like, oh, that's the first time we ever seen that. The rain.
Yeah, we had a beautiful trip.
We hardly didn't have any rain.
I wore 100 the whole time. I had 50 on, then I put 50 on again. So I said I was wearing 100 because mathematically, right? 50 and 50 was 100, and I didn't get sunburned. So this is the place where they discovered Pluto, this observatory. So that was kind of cool. A lot of bonus stuff. So the trip with EF Tours, they pack a lot of stuff into what you're doing. It's very educational, and it's very scheduled. So there was really not a ton of downtime except on the bus. There was a lot of driving. But I don't know. Do you guys want to say anything like what your favorite part was, or? Yeah, they're already asking me where we're going next year, Miss Bonacino.
All right.
So I don't know if you'll approve to take them again somewhere next year.
Hey, well, hopefully more people will go.
Yes, it was a lot of fun. Trip of a lifetime for sure.
Good.
And that was our bus driver and our tour guide. They were wonderful.
Look at that, 111.
All right. Thank you.
I have a book I'm going to pass around that one of the grandparents made, Heather Curry, who used to work for the district. I'll just pass it around. You guys can look at all the different pictures.
That'd be awesome. Thank you.
Sure. Yes, Brianna went, but she has, I
Brianna
opened it up to grade 7 to 12. So yeah, Brianna Curry went, and Mason Cottrell, and Lily Ann Boss.
Sorry about this.
So that's
Oh,
all.
that's fine. Thank you, Melinda. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Awesome. And then next month, Dave Bosco went to Europe for the World War II, so they'll be tomorrow. They'll be next month. Show their trip.
Really be interesting.
So yeah, that'll be really good.
So, before we go on, I've got to say, my technology is going crazy, and I don't know why, with my hearing aid Bluetooth, so I have no control over it. So, I'm not doing it on purpose, please. So if it goes off again. All right, at this point, board members informal. And I guess I just said that. That's pretty informal, isn't it? Kenny?
I don't have anything tonight.
Dave?
Yeah, I do. July 4th, with the wrangling of the budget in Columbus, if you've all paid attention to that, that passed. Some very interesting things came out of it, some very concerning things came out of it. One of which is the State Board of Education is basically stripped of its powers. Will just basically will be a licensure effect and keep up with documents of that. A lot of that went to what is going to be called State Board of Education. The changes to that will go to a department, cabinet department of the ODE, Ohio Department of Education. I'm not in favor of that. If it would be a democratically led thing, I wouldn't be in favor of that. It was Republican led, I'm not in favor of that. But that's how the bill got passed. More importantly, we have lobbied for the Cup-Patterson funding. That was approved at four-year data 2022, base cost inputs, maintained capacity calculations, designs based on, and here's where it should have helped Springfield, 60% property value. Because of the way the township's laid out and the land around us, we get bumped up in a higher property value. But now 40% of income of residents, 20% based on district federally adjusted gross income per pupil, and 20% adjusted median federally adjusted gross income per pupil increases the minimum state share percentage for districts of 5 to 10% in each of 4-year 24 and 25. The unfortunate thing, and it's very unfortunate to us because of our enrollment that has been going down for the last few years, in 4-year 23 and 24, we only get 20,000 increase. And in change of 24, 25, we only get 32,000. It's not fair. It's not fair when a school district north of us budgets it out in the next 3 years at $204 million, and if you calculate what we get and what we collect and what the school district just north of us gets, they get $204 million. So, in order to correct some of that, and I'll continue on, this and a piece of paper will work. Contact Sykes, Senator Sykes, and right now, State Representative Bob Young. I'll be very blunt. I think and there's a lot of other school districts across the state. I think we got shafted. I will be that blunt, and that hurts us. So that puts the bulk of what we need on our residents. And let me continue. Amends the mandatory student retention under the law known as third grade rating guarantee to be promoted to the fourth grade if the student's parent and guardians consult with the student's reading teacher and principal and they agree to the student's promotion, regardless of whether the student is at a reading level, requires the student to continue receiving reading intervention services until the student reads at grade level. So that means that student goes on and still needs instruction and help, then the school district is to provide that. Requires ODE to provide reimbursements to make school breakfast lunch free for all eligible students for reduced price meals. Increases new teacher base salary to $35,000, adjusts the step teacher's salary, that's at the state. Requires all gaming and sports revenue to be used to support public and non-public education and for students K to 12. We'll see how that turns out. Requires school district provide free feminine hygiene products to girls enrolled grades 6 to 12. And this one just was made aware of yesterday. Requires schools to accept cash at athletic and school events with limited exception for an event at public facility. That I do support. I'm glad we can have cash and we can spend it. DeWine said, spreading the science of reading in every school in the state so that every child is taught what we know is the best way to learn to read, and will be our #1 priority. DeWine briefly touched on expanding responsibilities and cabinet with the creation of the Department of Education and Workforce. That's the shift from the State Board of Education to this new agency. I'm not in favor of that. Again, speaking on the expanded science of reading across the state and leaving out the budget removes nearly all the partially selected State Board of Education educational responsibility and gives it to the governor's appointee, who will be named in the near future. So, no, I don't support that, but that is what's happening at the state level. That is my report to the board.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Petrie?
I have nothing today.
I just want to congratulate Destiny Ruggiero and Alyssa Hostetler that were picked by the Akron Beacon Journal for the Summit County All-Star Team that came out Friday. They were both picked. I know that our season obviously ended, but that's a pretty high honor. I don't believe there's a game anymore. They just get honored, so 2 girls that will be seniors next year to carry the program on further. So, congratulations to them.
Congratulations, good.
Thank you. Thank you. At this time, motion for approval of minutes, please.
I'll make a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
It is recommended that moved and seconded, the board approve the minutes of the regular meeting of the June 27, 2023, as exhibited in the published agenda. Mr. Adams?
Ms. Terry?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Hofer?
Yes?
Mrs. Frola?
Yes.
Mr. Petrie?
Yes.
The motion passed. Item number 7, citizens' comments on agenda items. Citizens' comments on agenda items are welcome at this time, and participants shall be asked to be limited to 5 minutes duration per person. And if there are any citizens commenting, then we would like your name and address, please.
My name's Melanie Smethers. I live at 339 Stall Avenue, Akron, Ohio, 44312. I've been working in the Springfield district on and off since 1983. I've been a substitute teacher, a tutor, an art teacher, and for the past 20 years, a special education teacher. My father, Milton Kengat, was a product of Springfield schools. He graduated in 1942 and joined the Army in the middle of World War II, 1st Cavalry, 1st in Japan. He came home to Springfield and attended Kent State, getting a teaching degree, and then a job teaching math at Springfield High School. Now, this was when there was a young Miss Nolt working here. He went on to become a principal and then a school psychologist training under Mr. Bell, who's now retired from Springfield. Was he ever wealthy? No. He was just a product of an America that supported teachers and education. He sent all 6 of his children to college. He did build his house across the street from his parents, which put us in the Mogador district. So I went to Mogador with Chris. When Mogador wanted to pass a levy, they would say, if we don't pass it, we have to combine with Springfield, and that levy would pass like that. Well, I became a teacher, and I started subbing at Springfield. And an older Mrs. Nolt was still teaching. I think she was here 40 or 50 years. And I was shocked to find the education here was better than ours. 2 languages, 2 art teachers in junior high, 2 in the high school. The softball team at that time was going to state. Your band was fabulous, still is. You had many options for math, science, social studies, and language arts. I couldn't believe it. I thought I'd been cheated in education because I went to Mogador. In my school, it was 1 high and 1 low for every subject. And if a levy on the ballot was on the ballot here, I would always hear, don't worry, Lakemore always gets those levies passed. Sadly, the support for teachers in schools has diminished. Who's really losing when you don't support your teachers and your district? Teachers can leave for better options and higher pay, and some have. I've been approached several times by Akron with offers of bonuses and things, but I don't leave. I would get paid more. I stay because I care about the families and Springfield and my students. And you need to be thankful that Ashley Fraley, Libby Kreitz, and Kinder Cox are returning to Springfield. Your teachers support your families and your schools. Supporting your teachers, the levies, and the district is supporting your futures, your children and your home values, your community. I'm here today to support Springfield teachers, but they're tied to the success of the community overall. It's critical that the teachers get a contract that they deserve to. And thank you for listening.
Good evening. My name is Manda Chamita, and I live at 701 Beechler Road in Talmadge. I teach 6th grade at Schropp Intermediate School. I have been teaching for 28 years. Even though it's been a while, a long while, since I was a new teacher, I still remember my first day. I stood in the front of the auditorium at the old high school and was introduced along with 26 other teachers who were hired that year. I remembered the excitement, standing there with my fellow new hires, a plant in my hand that each new teacher received that I killed. but we won't talk about that. But what an amazing place I had found to begin my teaching career. I still think where I work is amazing. I love my job. I love my students. I love the Springfield community. I absolutely love the people I work with. This staff is a family. Our family is facing some pretty serious challenges now. We have lost about 1/3 of our teaching staff in the last 5 years due to reduction in force. We've had to say goodbye to some people with incredible talent, and much of the talent has gone to other districts. Even more alarming, some of the educators who were not reduced in force have either chosen to resign from this district or have been considering it over the past few years. As painful as it is to watch our friends and colleagues pack up their rooms and prepare to leave the district, it's even more heartbreaking to know that our students will not have the benefit of the teachers that have left. The workload of our staff has increased. We are asked to do more curriculum-wise, with less planning time, less time to collaborate with our peers, less time to reach out to our families during the workday. We deal with increased student misbehavior and decreased student accountability. Most of us go above and beyond what is required. We come into work early to get things done. We stay late after the school day is over. We use our own money for supplies and curriculum enhancement. We do this because we want to do what's best for our students. Our union staff has gotten very little in way of compensation, monetary or otherwise, over the past several years. Tiny raises, if at all. We even gave back a 2% raise to help the district. The staff has given in so many ways, and it's taking its toll. I can honestly say that the morale of the staff, even though we cherish each other and the kids that we work with, has been the lowest I have ever seen, especially this past school year. In the past, when faced with challenges, Springfield always found a way to work together, administration and union, for the benefit of our students. Even when we were taken over by the state, even when levies failed, when buildings had to close, we found ways. We need to find our way again, for our students, for our community, for the district, for our family. Thank you.
My name is Melinda Weekland. I live at 5291 Eberly Road in Atwater. I'm a school counselor for Springfield Local Schools. I'm getting ready to start my 31st year as an educator. I taught special education for 2 years at a neighboring district, and the rest of my career has been right here at Springfield. I was a teacher, and then I became a school counselor. I'm a proud SHS grad of 1988. Don't do the math. My parents, my mom and dad, have lived in Springfield my whole life until 2019 when my mom sold her house and moved to Florida. Although I do not live in Springfield Township, I open enrolled both of my kids to Springfield. When they were in kindergarten, first and second grade, they got a very, very strong foundation here, and I decided to move them to the district that we live in so they could grow up around their friends that we live near. It was when my daughter was in 7th grade, and she said, "Mom, can I go back to Springfield?" We had just finished building the building. I'm like, "You want to go back to Springfield?" She said, "Yes, I like it better there." So I brought my daughter back to Springfield when she was in 7th grade. She graduated from Springfield High School during COVID, class of 2020, as the class valedictorian. I think that says a lot about our teaching staff. My son asked to come to Springfield when he was in 10th grade. He went to Portage Lakes Career Center. He studied engineering and robotics, received the early college high school program, and his associate's degree. He graduated in 2022. Both of my students excelled while they were here at Springfield. They continue to excel while they are in college at the University of Akron. I always knew I wanted to be a teacher from the time I was little. I had outstanding teachers growing up, from Mrs. Groh and Mrs. Campella back at Sawyerwood School, to Mr. Luton and Alberta Roberts, Mr. Dutton, Donnie Wallace, Gay Evans, and the list goes on, that I'm sure a lot of you had as well. People tried to discourage me from going into teaching because at that time, there was an overabundance of teachers, and it was going to be really hard to get a job. I did my student teaching in Springfield. Schropp had just become an elementary school. I worked for Mrs. Pavlak and Nancy Taylor at the time. Still was not able to get a job in Springfield back then. There was just too much competition. So I went to that district next door. But I was very fortunate 2 years later to land my dream job back in my home in Springfield, and that was in 1995. As an educator in Springfield, I've worked with so many, almost all of you that are sitting in this room, as well as some fantastic leaders like John Morris and Kathy Alio, Lisa Varden, Jenny Ganser, Cynthia Frola, Sean Morgan, and now Michelle Warner. I'm a school counselor, and school counselors support all students in grades pre-K through 12 with their academic achievement, social and emotional development, and career planning for their future. It's quite a lot. School counseling programs and professional organizations recommend that school counselors spend the majority of their time in direct service and in contact with students. When I started my career as a school counselor in 2000, our district had 7 school counselors. Beginning in 2007, our district went through financial hardships, and our department was cut down to 4. We eliminated elementary counseling altogether. Carrie Franks moved up to Schropp, and I was bumped up to the high school, and I bumped somebody else out of a job. We had 4 left. Been at the high school ever since. Some accomplishments, though, that I am proud of while working in Springfield: I was able to achieve my National Board Teaching Certification. I helped co-found the group that you've heard called Springfield Cares back in 2005 with Carrie Franks and Perry Linneberg. The program is very big now. Under the leadership of Cynthia Frola, our school joined the High Schools That Work Network, which was full of professional development and support. Cynthia and I worked together to revamp the school counseling, some of the school counseling components, and we worked for us to start delivering our program a little bit differently. It's not uncommon now for for the high school counselors and junior high counselors to meet with every student one-on-one at least 2 times. And that takes a lot of time. But in the words of Cynthia Frola, it is what's best for kids. I'll never forget that. I use that a lot. I wrote a grant 2 years ago that allowed us to bring the ROCKS program, the Ruling Our Experience Girls Empowerment Program, if you've ever heard of it, that neighboring districts have. I was able to bring that program to Springfield and train 4 of us for it. This last school year, Charlene Moss and I delivered it to our students. We're going to continue, hopefully, next year. In addition of all I mentioned so far, I was on the very first LPDC. That was like a gajillion years ago. I was on that for quite a while. I've served our students as a National Honor Society advisor for 10 years, as a junior class advisor since 2013. I'm going into my 3rd year as senior class advisor. I coached the dance team for 2 years. This last year, my husband and I coached the bowling team. I am dedicated to my career, and I'm dedicated to the students of Springfield. But I'm standing here today to tell you that I'm tired. I'm tired of being asked to take on more tasks, things that are handed down by the state and other people that take me away from working with my students. I'm tired of working for a district that doesn't support our teachers and our counselors. I'm tired of seeing other occupations get cost of living raises. I speak for all of us to say we haven't seen a raise in years, and it takes a toll on a person and a family. I have 2 kids in college now who are not Pell Grant eligible. Our grocery bill has gone up, our utility bills have gone up, car insurance has gone up, property taxes have gone up, and we just got an email the other day saying that our medical costs were going up as well. The cost of living has increased. Day-to-day, paycheck-to-paycheck living is hard for all of us here in Springfield, I could say. I just read an article from the National Education Association that says teacher salaries are not keeping up with inflation. Teachers right now, with the inflation adjusting it, are making an average of $3,600 less than they made 10 years ago. It's embarrassing. If we want to see this district change for the better, and if we want to attract more families and students, then we need to promote a climate where the teachers want to work here and the students thrive. Students thrive when teachers and counselors thrive and when we feel appreciated. Thank you for hearing me.
Need my cheaters. I am Lisa Putt, and I live at 1202 Maxfly Drive. I am a proud teacher, just finishing my 30th year, 28 of those here in Springfield.
Unfortunately, 26 years ago, it was determined that the way our state funds its schools is unconstitutional, which has never been fixed. So the majority of my career and the careers of my colleagues have been filled with continuous teacher cuts. In 1998, there were 231 of us. Now there are 121. Increasing class sizes, school closures. In 1998, we had 8 buildings. Now we have 3. Frustrating negotiation cycles and levy failure after levy failure. Interestingly, though, our administration count has stayed remainingly steady. In 1998, there were 13. Now we have 10. Year after year, decade after decade, despite the ever-increasingly negative financial forecasts presented regarding the district, the Springfield local teachers have met each challenge, adopted and adapted to every new mandate, and continue to offer a first-class, quality, and competitive education. The hard work, dedication, and loyalty of the people you see here in red shirts is how the district has made it successfully for the past 26 years, with the voters continually voting down levies. I am in an interesting position as I am both a Springfield teacher and a Springfield parent. As a teacher, I am affected professionally and financially, and as a parent, my daughter's academic and extracurricular opportunities have been affected by all of the cuts and financial decisions of this administration over the years. For too many years, I've watched my peers lose their teaching jobs, taking our teaching staff down to bare minimums. Most of us spend hundreds of dollars each year on teaching resources, classroom supplies, and basic office supplies that used to be supplied to us. Many of us have to purchase school supplies because more than 50% of our students do not bring the requested items on our supply lists. In addition to buying items for our classrooms, many of us also buy food items because our students are hungry. We also provide money for dance tickets, lunch fees, field trips, senior fees and/or fines so seniors can graduate. And I founded and ran Spartan's Caring Closet, a free caring closet for clothing, shoes, and toiletries in 2017. The funds we use for our classrooms all come out of our own pockets, our personal budgets. To illustrate, in 2012, our staff raise was 1.5%, and the U.S. inflation rate was 2.1%, a difference of negative 0.6%. Since that time, we have not kept up with the inflation from year to year, putting us further and further behind the level of inflation. To date, a total of 15.8% behind. Furthermore, continual lack of increases below the inflation rate continues to result in inadequate pensions for the rest of our lives. To add insult to injury, we are one of the few professional careers that is dependent on community voters to help us support our own families. Because of this, we are continually asked during levy time to go door to door, pass out literature, make phone calls, etc., and many of us are uncomfortable doing so, as it looks like we're begging voters to pass levies so we can get raises. While we deserve to be paid for the job we do, commensurate with our education, our effort, and our responsibilities, that is not how the levy process should work. They say it takes a village to raise a child, and that really is the truth. The community needs to take responsibility for its youth. I mentioned that I've been a proud teacher for 28 years. I've also been a Springfield resident for 28 years. When it was time to enroll Maggie in school, I was astounded by the number of people who suggested that I send her to a different school district. I had not given any thought to sending my child anywhere other than to Springfield local schools because of these people in the red shirts.
5 minutes.
My child is an honor student and a varsity golfer. She was unable to compete on the junior high golf team as it was cut just as she reached junior high. But the dedicated golf coach made sure that she had the opportunity to practice and not lose those formative years. Her classes are larger than they should be, but her teachers make sure to dedicate extra time and effort for students who need it. My daughter lacks the vast selection of electives that my nieces and nephew have in their respective districts. But our counselors work overtime to make sure the CCP program and PLCC are options for those who are interested.
Excuse me, you're almost at 6 minutes.
I'm almost
Will
done.
you be finished?
I'm almost done. Thank
Okay,
you.
I don't want to make
My-
it stop, but
My daughter goes to a high school and junior high that does not have a working library, but we find other ways to get the resources she needs. She has had to this point a stellar first-class education from top-notch educators that cannot be rivaled. I would not trade Maggie's education thanks to the coaches and teachers here in the red shirts. The teachers of Springfield respectfully request that the Board of Education consider the loyalty, dedication, and effort of the teaching staff daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, through the decades, as money has gotten tighter and tighter, yet we've kept the Spartan pride Springfield-wide. We ask that you please work with us to find fair compensation and working conditions for slack, validating our role as a critical, integral, and appreciated component of the Springfield local schools. Thank you for your
Thank you.
time.
is there anyone else who would like to speak?
My name's Albert Blosser. I live on 2271 Ritz Manor Drive. And I appreciate and agree with the statements made, but they're preaching to the choir. Everybody here, I believe, supports the schools and supports the levies and that. Mr. Hover brought up some very good points. I think a lot of in fact, I know a lot of the citizens, because I've talked to them, they think that when we get a property reevaluation and the taxes go up, they think that the schools get more money. They don't realize, and they will argue with me, that the tax levies for the schools are for a set dollar amount, and when the taxes go up, the schools don't get another dollar out of it. The board here, I'm sure, would love to spread some largesse around and do the things, but you're limited by the money involved, by the money you have, and I understand that, the state oversight. We have the illegal funding of schools that has been ignored by the state legislature for 20-some years is the same as the gerrymandering that they just ignored. The Supreme Court ruled that they had to do it. They ignore it, and they're going to keep ignoring us. I support levies. I've never voted against a school levy in my life, and I've voted a lot of years. So, because I understand when you have a limited budget, because I raised 3 kids and put 3 through college with no loans, no nothing, and I worked my butt off to do it, but we had to spend so much. And this is what I'm getting at is, I really appreciate all the teachers. Every interaction I'm putting an 8-year-old through, he's 8 years now, I started it when he 2 years of preschool. And every teacher I've had interaction with has been superb. And I've had people tell me, because my older kids went to Lake when my kids are in their 40s and 50s. They went to Lake at that time, and I've had people tell me, why do you keep him in Springfield? I said, there's not a problem with the schools. There's not a problem with the teachers. You take the teachers from one district to another, they're going to have the same outcome. It's not that the teacher's fault. If you have bad outcome, it's not the teacher's fault. I guarantee you. Because I was one of the two students that gave teachers a hard time too. But if you would all go out and just educate your neighbors that this reevaluation, which is going to raise our taxes greatly, just like the one 3 years ago did, educate them that the schools don't get any of that. That's going to the county general fund. That's going to the state. So voting against the levy is not going to lower their taxes. I was here for a different subject, but I just, after listening to you, I wanted to get up and run my mouth. So, thank you.
Would anyone else like to address citizens' comments? Thank you to all who have, and now we'll move
Am I
on.
allowed to say something?
Oh,
I'm not
I'm sorry,
trying,
what?
I know. Shelley gave me
I'm
the
sorry, I
look.
didn't see you. Go ahead.
That was because
I know. Like, I don't want to get emotional, but, I hear you. I fight every levy. And like, some of the things that you guys said upset me. I'm at every levy committee. And I don't see some of you. And I'm not trying to call you out to say you should be there. But I'm asking you to be. My kid walks these halls. You guys teach my kids. Hopefully you don't get mad at me saying this and hold it against them, but we can't do this alone. I would love to sit there and say, I want to give you guys 6%. I want to give you 100% because you deserve it. I volunteer in this community as a coach, as a parent, as anything. And I respect every single one of you more than I can ever say. I didn't run for this for popularity because probably one of the most unpopular people around here. But I did it to have a voice, and Shelley usually tells me to try to calm down. But if we could give you everything that you wanted, we would sign the paper tomorrow. I truly believe that. But the state, okay, within reason, but the state, we're so tight. And I wish that right now that I could say, please come, help us pass the levy. Do I sit there and, I have my own kids walk door to door. Do I want,
I think we're
all right,
crossing over into
Thank you.
out of board, what board
I don't want
members
you to
can
get in
do.
trouble.
I'm just,
I feel
We do
the
respect
same
you.
passion, I just know I'm not allowed to say it anymore. From up here, I can say it out there.
Randy,
And
you
that's
got
what
an
we're
hour
gonna
that you
do,
can
we're
go
gonna
wherever you
stand
want.
out there. We'll work together on that, that's for sure. Thank you. We're on number 8?
They're good, yes.
Okay, payment of bills. It is recommended that the board approve a payment of bills for the month of June pending an audit. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved in second. Mr. Adams?
Ms. Terry?
yes.
Mr. Petrie?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Frola?
Yes.
Mr. Hofer?
Yes.
I hope you guys know how tough this is on all of us. Okay, number 9, acceptance of the financial reports. It's recommended that the board accept the financial reports from the treasurer from June 2023 as shown in exhibits 3, 4, and 5. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second that the financial reports be accepted.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Hofer?
Yes.
Mrs. Frola?
Yes.
Ms. Terry?
Yes.
Mr. Petrie?
Yes.
Motion passed. Going to item number 10, personnel. 10.1, registration, accept the resignation of classified employee Jennifer Hyde effective June 29, 2023. 10.2, employ Edgar Lindsay as a classified substitute per the negotiated agreement pending proper licensure effective first day assigned. 10.3, employment. Employ Tim Burns as a Springfield High School and Junior High Assistant Principal on a 2-year administrative contract pending proper licensure effective the 23-24 school year. 10.4, employment. Employ Elizabeth Genevieve, I'm sorry.
That's not her.
Did I say it right?
That's not her.
I'm a stickler on names, given my maiden name. As a 100% intervention specialist teacher per the negotiated agreement pending proper licensure effective the 23-24 school year. 10.5, athletic supplemental contracts. Approve the following supplemental contracts for the 23-24 school year per the negotiated agreement. And, can I read them? Okay. The, as listed in the agenda. 10.6, volunteer coaches. There are, approve the following volunteer coaches as listed for the 23-24 school year, and since they are the boys soccer and junior high soccer. Non-supplemental contracts. Approve the following non-sport supplemental contracts for the 23-24 school year per the negotiated agreement pending proper licensure. Melinda Weekland as junior class advisor, Mackenzie Weekland as high school dance team, and Jacob Williams as summer band assistant. 10.8, non-sport supplemental volunteer. Approve Parker Mason as a volunteer for the Student Congress non-sport supplemental for the 23-24 school year pending proper licensure. 10.9, reduction in force. Approve a reduction of the following classified positions due to staffing need reasons effective the 23-24 school year. 1 teaching assistant at Schropp Intermediate, 1 teaching assistant reduction at Schropp Intermediate, 1 educational assistant at Spring Hill, working in the office, and 1 teaching assistant at Spring Hill. Those reductions are by hours are listed. Okay, that is all of that one, right?
So
Okay.
moved. We still have one more.
No, we're
Nope.
keeping number 11 out.
Huh? We're good?
Number
good.
11 is
We're good.
separate.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay. All right, just a couple things. First, Tim Burns, who was an intervention specialist here for how many years?
At the high school?
Yes, or whatever.
Oh, I've been here 12 years.
12 years, and he is now going to join the assistant principal at the high school. So, Tim, welcome. Thank you.
Elizabeth Genevieve, she would have been here today to participate in the meeting. She is busy moving herself and her family from Bowling Green to Cuyahoga Falls today. So this unfortunately didn't correspond with her schedule, but she's extremely excited to get started at Springfield.
And we do have a new teaching guest with us today. We have Rebecca Boyd, who most recently finished up her student teaching in a long-term sub-position in North Canton, and she is coming to Springfield to be our new or replacement for our EL teacher position that was vacated by retirement. So we're excited to have Rebecca here in Springfield teaching
our English language learners across the district.
And Rebecca, that's.
And that's
And that's
Rebecca's
Rebecca right there.
Yeah, and you can help with the name.
Yes, that's, so that's Rebecca right
I
there,
won't
yes.
struggle the next time.
And then, I did get a text that, Coach, Tanksley, Corey Tanksley wished that he could be here today, but they have football practice. So, he wishes that he could be here to represent his dad, so.
Mr. Petrie,
Yes.
Mrs. Frola,
Yes,
Ms. Terry,
Yes,
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Hofer.
Yes.
that motion is passed, and thank you to everyone involved in that motion for being willing to work with our students. Thank you. Number 11, athletic supplemental contract. It is recommended that the board approve the following athletic supplemental contract for the 23-24 school year per the negotiated agreement pending proper licensure, and that would go to Lance Price, who will be hired as the varsity girls basketball head coach.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Price also last said he couldn't be here too, because I think he's helping out with football. So, they went, Kevin Vaughn went through a very, intensive, application process. The basketball coaches were first interviewed by him, then the high school team, then parents and students, and then finally by me. So we put them through the ringer to make sure that, we got somebody. And the reason why this is separated is because, Miranda is going to be coaching, what are you coaching, Miranda? JV. So, for not to be part of the voting for that. So that's why that one was pulled out separately.
Yes. Okay.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Hofer,
Yes.
Mrs. Frola,
Yes,
Mr. Petrie,
Yes.
Ms.
the
Terry.
motion passed.
Abstain.
Yes.
Yes, you can. All right, number 12, service contract with the Education Plus Limited Corporation. It is recommended that the board approve a service contract with Education Plus LLC to assist the district with the federal E-rate program application process. The contract is for 3 years, covering 24, 25, and 26 at an annual rate fee of $5,000. And I believe that is in Exhibit 6 on the agenda.
So moved.
second.
It's been moved in second, Mr. Adams. Oh, you wanna, I'm
No,
sorry.
you're fine, you're fine.
This contract with Education Plus, E-rate is a federal communications program that gives us rebates and discounted bills on things like internet connectivity, phone lines, some equipment that gives us all our connectivity, wireless access points, and we get much in excess of the cost of the administration of this program back in those rebates and discounts there. So it's very, very worthwhile program.
Rebates and discounts probably more than
Yes.
paid for the
Oh, but-
yearly contract.
Yeah.
I think
And
that's
we would
important.
probably miss
Yeah,
a lot if we didn't have help.
yeah. Okay, Mr. Adams?
Mr. Petrie,
Yes.
Mrs. Frola,
Yes.
Mr. Hofer,
Yes.
Ms. Terry,
Yes,
Mr. Ray.
Yes.
Motion passed. Number 13, resolution authorizing the execution and delivery of a master electric energy and sales agreement with Power for Schools. It is recommended that the board approve this resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second, Mr. Adams?
Ms. Terry,
yes,
Mr. Petrie,
Yes.
Mrs. Frola,
Yes.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Hofer.
Yes.
Dustin, did you want anything on it?
This program is Power for Schools. We've been a part of for many years, and it's through the Ohio Schools Council, where they aggregate customers of schools around Ohio in order to purchase electricity. There's also a sister program that deals with natural gas there that we purchase from in order to keep our rates low and realize that purchasing power of a large group.
Thank you for the
That will
clarification.
become more apparent as the electrical rates go up in the grid. Absolutely.
Number 14 is entering into a joint agreement regarding the Springfield Hike and Bike Trail. I think Mr. Young
Last
spoke
month.
to this at our last board meeting. It's recommended that the board approve a joint statement agreement with the Board of Trustees granting an easement required for location of the hike and bike trail constructed on and across the high school grounds to accomplish the desired trail connection. Do you want to, let's have a motion first.
So moved.
Second.
And this was what Mr. Young talked about for last month, and they're gonna be starting on the trail, which is gonna be a really good safety too for our kids. Oh, there we go.
This section of the trail will come from the southern parking lot near the visitors' football stands and extend through the southernmost portions of our property to Seneca Avenue there and cross that and meet with the trolley line trail that is already established there. So there's already part of a trail there, but this will establish it and make it a nice and walkable there. So.
Okay, and this will allow the students not to have to walk on the highway.
Right, because they'll be able to come to Sanitarium,
Yeah.
yes.
Thank you.
Nice, thank you, I forgot to tell you to do that.
Ms. Terry?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Hofer?
Yes.
Mr. Petrie?
Yes.
Mrs. Frola?
Yes, it's a good thing. Motion passed. Number 15, Springfield Township School Resource Officer, MOU, Memorandum of Understanding. It is recommended that the board approve a memorandum of understanding with the Springfield Township to provide the services of a school resource officer as required by Ohio Revised Code Section 3313.951, and that would be from August 1, 2023 through June 30th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
And this is just the contract that we have with Springfield to, for Officer Dom.
And he would service
Schropp and Springfield,
and
yes.
this building.
Yes,
Okay.
In the
Mr.
future, we
Ed?
hope to expand that, correct?
absolutely. That's our goal, is to have a resource officer in every building. And, that was one of the caveats of the levy passing. And also, I know that the state was trying to find some money also for school resource officers. I don't think that made it through the budget, but I had heard that they're looking at other ways of doing that. So however we can do it, we definitely want to do that.
Mrs. Frola?
Yes.
Mr. Petrie? Yes. Mr. Hofer?
Yes.
Ms. Terry?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Motion passed. Number 16, an affiliation agreement with the University of Akron. It is recommended that the board approve an affiliation agreement with the University of Akron to provide student teaching and other field-based teacher education experiences for the University of Akron students. And I think I know that agreement is Exhibit 10 in the agenda.
I'll make a
So-
motion.
I'll second.
Okay, moved in second, Mr. Adams. Do you
Ms.
want to add
Terry?
anything? All right, just a minute, I'm sorry.
No, just recently, we've taken probably between 15 and 20 student teachers in the past several years from the University of Akron alone, not even considering what we've taken from Kent State and Walsh. So it's been a great program. It's benefited the teachers who are coming to us, the teacher candidates who are coming to us. It's benefited our students, and it's definitely been a great help in the classroom with the teachers also.
We corrected the address change. that was
Yes,
on.
we did.
Thank you.
Ms. Terry?
Yes.
Mrs. Frola?
Yes,
Mr. Petrie? Yes. Mr. Ray? Yes. Mr. Hofer?
Yes.
motion passed. Number 17, it is recommended that the board approve a resolution determining to proceed with the submission of the question of levying an additional tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation to the electors of Springfield Local School District pursuant to sections 5705.194 to 5705.197 of the revised code.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Adams, you want to talk about what this is?
Just a second, Larry. Yes. You have to provide 2 resolutions every time you put a levy up. Same one as last time, a 5-year emergency, $1,739,000, which equates to the same millage rate of 3.77. Cross our fingers. That's all.
And again, as we've done in the past, clarification that this 10 mil limitation is not the amount of the
It's
levy.
a 3.77 mil levy
Yeah.
For 5 years.
for 5 years. It's a fixed sum. So, just like this gentleman said, if valuations go up, we still only collect $1,739,000.
I'm sorry, it moved in second?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, Mr. Adams?
Mrs. Frola?
Yes?
Mr. Petrie?
Yes.
Mr. Hofer?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Ms. Terry?
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. Number 18 has to do with the revision to the corrected treasurer's contract. It is recommended that the board approve the revised corrected treasurer's contract for Christopher Adams. This is to correct a clerical error in section 9, vacation, sick leave, and personal time, of changing the date from August 1, 2023 to July 1, 2023. Just the effectiveness of the contract.
Make a motion.
No addition or subtraction.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Adams?
Ms. Terry?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Hofer?
Yes.
Mrs. Frola?
Yes,
Mr. Petrie?
Yes.
you get it written correctly here. All right, number 19, it is recommended that the board approve a resolution declaring the transportation to other schools impractical in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code Section 3327.01 and 3327.02, and therefore will offer payment in lieu of transportation. And again, that is Exhibit 13.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Moved in second, Mr. Adams?
Ms. Terry?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Hofer?
Yes.
Mr. Petrie?
Yes.
Mrs. Frola?
Yes.
And just for clarification,
So payment in lieu of transportation, this is something that we do for students that we are required to transport, but there are reasons as to why it's not economical for us to transport them on the standard school bus, maybe because of distance to the school they're attending or number of students that attend that school there. So we declare them impractical, and then according to state guidelines, we offer them a payment in lieu of for that transportation service. So this is something that we do every year. We are trying to be very mindful of watching what schools we do this with, or what students we do this with, and transport as many as possible, and balance that whether or not it's economical or not to provide that transportation service.
Thank you. You vote.
we voted already.
I'm lost.
You're good.
All right, donation 20.1, Lakemore, accept a donation of $2,500 from the Lakemore Army Navy Union Garrison 273 to the Sparkle Cheer Team.
I'll make a motion.
And I just want to remind that the Sparkles did get picked to go for Capitol Conference on that Monday, November something. We'll get the more information on that, but that was a great honor, and this is going to be a great addition to help them.
Okay.
Ms. Terry?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Hofer?
Yes.
Mr. Petrie?
Yes.
Mrs. Frola?
Yes. Motion passed, and thank you to the Army-Navy Union Garrison. That's a very generous donation. All right, number 21, Treasurer's Report.
I'm going to present what I presented. There's a couple people here that saw this last night, but I felt with the audience that we're going to have and the fact that it's televised, I think it's very important to go over our finance committee. I'm trying to present what people want to see. That's difficult. I live in a world where I think this stuff is easily understandable until you look at the audience and their eyes roll back and you just don't, So this is one thing I wanted to talk about. Think of your own personal finances. Say the kids are gone, house is paid for, you're old, but, that will happen. It might cost you $3,000 a month. Say you have a couple kids, say you have 4 kids. Sorry. It could be $5,000, $6,000 a month. That's the average in Springfield. Well, our district costs us a day, not a month, a day, $69,438. And people just kind of, wow, But this is every district. People don't have any idea how much it costs to run a district at all. The Ohio Department of Education, our friends from Columbus, they want us to have 30 to 60 days in the bank at the end of the year. You take 70,000 times 60 days, that's over $4 million. I don't think we've ever had $4 million. This is what we've had, and this is why the state got real nervous. In 22, we had 9 days of cash. 23, this is a little misleading, but I felt it should be on here. Went up to 31 days. Why? COVID money. For our district, it saved a lot more jobs. We could have lost a lot more people than we already did. And we had a lot of cuts. Young, But, there it goes. It's a cycle. This year, hopefully, I have 27 days. 25, we're down to 12. Anytime you're in that kind of range, 12 days, okay, they get nervous. The state gets nervous. They come in, look at your numbers. I don't like it, they don't like it, so we all know what has to happen in November. We all know. The next screen is just a visual. It's kind of like the numbers speak for themselves. I got here in 09, so the number was even higher than that. But 2,400, and then boom, 23, 1,768. We cannot survive as a district if this trend continues. We just can't. And we have to figure out, and like Mr. Hofer said, Columbus was not our friend in this biennial budget, by no stretch. It's heartbreaking. We're all in this together. Everybody is in this together. My job would be so much easier, if we could make people happy and we had money left over. Wouldn't that be a great day? In Springfield, doesn't seem to happen that way, But I'm optimistic. I'm hoping and praying that things turn around and we get back to where it was when I was watching my nieces and nephews in the late 90s and early 2000s. I still remember that district. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Central Office Report.
So just real quick, I wanted to note on one of the personnel items, the classified positions that we reduced. Those reductions are kind of a contractual requirement to reduce positions as positions move around the district. So as students move from one building to another, groups of students, sometimes those needs of special needs population changes, so those aides will move from building to building, and within our contract that requires us reducing one position and adding another. So those positions will actually maintain somewhere around the district and have either been posted or will be posted to fulfill those. So luckily with those reductions, nobody should lose a position with that. There will be a job for them somewhere. It'll just be a change in location for the next school year. And the second item, there is just to give you an update about Roosevelt. I'll try to give you an update each month as we go through this process over the next few months. But I attended a construction meeting there this morning, and they are in the process. The building is now secured by a fence around it, and construction has started. They've been in the process of prepping the building for abatement since yesterday, building that containment area that they'll conduct the abatement in, and we'll be doing that over the next several months there. So it's starting to look like things are happening over there. So I'm glad to see that, and I'll keep you updated through that process.
And then all the neighbors were notified prior to the.
Yes, and with that notification, I included my contact information. So I received a call from one of them this morning, just asking some questions. He was curious about how some things were going to work there with the abatement process. So I think they're very happy to see this work starting.
Thank you for being diligent about the communication. Anything else?
From the department that I am in, there is just about a month of summer left. We did send out school supply lists to the parents so that they could start taking advantage of the sales that are going on. Parents, if you did not get that email or those links, please feel free to visit the school websites, because they are all linked onto the school websites to make sure that your children so you can get the best for your dollar. You know, you don't want to buy the paper for 99 cents if you can get it for a quarter. Watch the sale ads.
And last but not least, we have had some influx in phone calls the last week inquiring about our preschool program. So I encourage anyone who knows a neighbor or a friend that has a child that's ages 3 or 4 that's not already enrolled in preschool to come join us at this building, at the preschool center. Also, the same thing for kindergarten. If you know a friend or family member that hasn't already registered their 5-year-old as of August 1st for kindergarten, please remind them to also fill out the final forms for both of those locations on our springfieldspartans.org website.
Thank you.
Just a couple things. First, through our new health care, our Vitality, and with the help from Paulette Ryan and Melissa Kitchens, we are able to provide a yoga classes free to any of the staff who would like to join us on Tuesday or Thursday. Not me, I haven't done it yet. I bought a mat.
Chicken.
I bought a mat. That's as far as I got there so far. On Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 to 9:45 here in the board office. And it's in one of the preschool rooms that has air conditioning, so you're not sweating too heavily. I think we've had about 7, 8 people come. So if you want to do some stretching, come on down. August 3 and 4, the admin team is going to be participating in the ESC Leadership Symposium. They have different sessions for us to attend for some professional development, but they are also giving us a room so we can start to hold our first admin team meeting, because as said, summer's winding down. And also, very proud that our team is going to be presenting to other schools, the district, about our journey about chronic absenteeism and how we surpassed our goals that we set for ourselves. And as a matter of fact, we've had some schools already call us because they've heard that we've made some leeway in this, and they're asking what we've done. So we've taken the forefront on that. And other than that, the month of July is just the month where we can catch up on everything that we couldn't do during the school year. And
You
that's,
think?
Yeah, we think, yes. I'm cleaning my email, my 3,000 email, I'm starting to clean that out. And we're doing some PD for ourselves during this time. So just relaxation.
Thank you. Anything else?
I'm good.
Okay, items worthy of your note. On August 7th, the school building offices reopened. On August 15, our next regular school board meeting, 6 o'clock, in this location. On August 21st is convocation, which is the first day for the staff. On August 22nd is staff in-service day. And
Okay, so there's gonna be some changes on from the next 2 dates. So one of the things that, as a district, we decided that was gonna best benefit our kindergartners, you know, we have quite a few kindergartners that have never attended any type of schooling at all. So those first couple days, when you have all the kindergartners there, it's like herding cats sometimes, you know, even teaching them how to use the bathroom or go through the cafeteria line. So we are going to have a staggered start for our kindergarten, and open house will be 8:25, and all these dates are going to be blasted everywhere, so this will start to be out there. But open house is going to be 8:25 for kindergarten at 1:30, and then on that Monday, the 28th, kids who have already registered already know this. Kids whose last name begins between A and G, they will attend. On Tuesday, the 29th, kids whose last name begins with H through Q, they will attend. And then Wednesday, kids whose last names are R through Z, that's on the 30th, they will attend. And then on 8/31 will be the first full day for kindergartners. And there's been a lot of schools that have done this, and they realize having a third of the kindergartners in the building will really help to adjust the movement. I would ask parents, because also not only in the building is there a third, but on the bus. So I would ask parents that even if your kids do not ride the bus, that you're gonna drive them normally, if they are eligible to ride the buses those days, because the bus drivers will be able to help teach them how to get on and off the bus. I mean, they learn it in safety school, safety town, but doing it will actually help. And then on August 23, where it says Students' First Day, talking with Melinda and Michelle, they used to have something called Connections Day. That was something a while ago, and it was something that is worthwhile. So it's something we are bringing back. And what it is that the 7th grade and the 9th grade will attend school on August 23rd. So it will be school from grades 1 through 6, 7th grade and 9th grade, and the mentors that will be helping them. And the idea of this was to get the 7th graders the first time that they're in the building and learn middle school. And then even though the 9th graders have been there for 2 years, it's important for the 9th grade to understand that high school is different than junior high. That, you know, grades, that have the credits to graduate, just the different responsibilities, starting to get them ready. I know, when Melinda said that they talk to every student, they have to have a graduation plan in place. So this is just to get them assimilated with it, smaller groups, getting the rules and the regulations down of what they're supposed to do. And then on August 24th, everybody, except kindergarten, 1 through 12 will be in school. And we will blast this everywhere. It will be on our website, it will be all calls. Miranda, your idea of last year of making that sheet, we're creating one already for that with all the dates on there that will be blasted out. It'll be on Twitter, it will be on our Facebook page. It'll be in the Southside Leader, so we are just gonna blast these dates everywhere, and we think that this is a really good way to start welcoming, making the first days of school really not worthwhile, but more cohesive for our kiddos. So we're excited. Huh?
Am I allowed to say how pleased I am that
Yes,
that's
you are.
coming back?
Yes. And honestly, I want to thank the team, for talking, and saying, hey, we used to do things like this. It's, I know they had to go back and look at some of their folders for.
Yeah, when
As
this
Michelle
was
Hannah was
first
like a-
started, the teachers were so effective at planning and implementing that we had schools from other parts of Ohio who came.
Oh, wow.
We had visits, plus I believe we presented on, I don't know how many times, just at the state or at the national level on this program. So it was very well developed, and the teachers did it. It wasn't anything, but.
So I'm excited
and
for it. I can't wait to.
Sadly, the budget that Dave was talking about, the high schools at work did not make it into a line item this year, so I don't know what we're gonna have to do.
And also too, one of the other things that we're doing, just for our newest students and our, kids going, is for our new teachers. We have quite a few new teachers this year. So, Mary is going to be holding a new teacher cohort. So to bring the teachers in and to start building up just a place where they can go and learn and have, where they can talk. Because so many times we haven't had it in a while here. So we're excited to start that again. Yes, that was good news.
Okay, at this time, citizens' comments citizens' comments. And again, we'll limit those to 5 minutes per citizen.
Albert Blosser, 2271 Ritz Manor Drive. I got three things to bring up, and one of them that I haven't heard brought up, and it's going to affect the schools and affect the teachers and everything, is Ryan Holmes is building a boatload of homes over here. There's going to be kids, and there's already some in here, but there's going to be a lot of kids come out of those homes. Like I said, the millage only gives so much money, and those homes, it's going to lower some of our taxes because it'll spread it around, but it doesn't mean that they send 200 kids over, we're not going to get extra funding for those 200 kids. So educate, like I said, educate your neighbors about how the tax system works, because most of them do not know it, and I've spoken to a lot of intelligent people, or they think they're intelligent, and they still swear that every time the taxes go up, the schools get a share of it. Secondly, the reason I came down here tonight was I have custody of a grandchild. He's 8 years old. He's had 2 years of preschool that some of DD paid for, and then he had kindergarten, and I can't remember the teacher's name, and then he's had Mrs. Fries, Mrs. Worzinski, and I think if you'll ask them, you'll find out that I went above and beyond what I supported monetarily and supplies and everything else. So I'm not expecting anything except that I have a problem with the bus. This 8-year-old, since he was 5, 6, 7, his bus, he's the first group on in the morning. There's maybe 2 kids on there. He gets on, he's got a 45-minute bus ride. Coming home, they reverse the route, so he's got a 45-minute bus ride back. And on a young kid, especially one that's got some sensitivity issues, that's hard. I'm disabled. I can't always get to take him or bring him, but by the spring this year, it was just bad. There was some bullying on the bus earlier in the year, but I think that they should just run the route over. If you're on there 45 minutes in the morning, then you should only be on there the 5 minutes in the afternoon. Should be fair. Now that's my rant on that. We'll see if anything happens. And the third thing is, last year I bought my first new car since 2003. I'm not being poor, I just keep my cars all the time. I shop at Springfield Giant Eagle and Dunkin' Donuts. I have immersed in the Springfield system. I come out the other day and there's a dent in my door. And I know what it is. You all see these people with, I call them the placard hangers. They got their placard, this handicap placard, and they get out and run in, and it's either one that's expired or belongs to their nephew or whatever. Well, they don't see a placard on my car. And I always park in the handicap spots, but I park with plenty of room on each side. So you might tell your neighbors, if you don't see a placard, look at the damn license plate. Mine has a handicap, and it's got a red wheelchair. Maybe you don't know this, but if you see a veteran's handicap plate with a blue wheelchair, that's fine, he's disabled. If you see it with a red wheelchair, he's disabled from service to the country. Mine's from combat. Mine has no expiration date on it. But I've even had policemen ask me, hey, where's your placard? I tell them, look at the license plate. That's why the state gives it to me. So if you have anybody, if you know anybody they're bragging about they fixed somebody that stopped, parked in a handicapped spot, tell them to look at the damn license plate. Because it's my first new car, and it really irritates me. Thank you.
My name's Steve Schaefer. I'm a teacher at Springfield High School. I've been a teacher in the district for 25 years. 5 years I was in another district. I've been a basketball coach. I've coached in the district for 25 plus years. I'm standing up here not because I want to, but I feel I have to. It's not a pleasant situation we're in. Seeing my colleagues feel the way they do is disheartening. We are tired. I'm tired. You're tired. But we have to find a way to work together. I feel there's a huge divide. On us against you, it can't be that way. I'm going to ask some tough questions to the board. Have we done everything we can? If we were a business, we would be bankrupt. We would be out of business. School is a business. All right? Have we cut everything we can cut? We've cut a lot of teachers. We've cut a lot of staff. It's unfortunate. Are there other places we can cut? Have we cut busing? Have we cut extracurricular activities? Which is the last thing you want to cut. Trust me, as a coach, that's the last thing you want to cut. I was a student here in 1986. We had the same problems. I was in my sophomore year of high school. Going into the spring, the levy did not pass prior to that. The board made the toughest decision ever. They said there will be no spring sports. I was crushed. I missed out on track my sophomore year, and a lot of people missed out on their spring sports. But you know what? The levy passed. The levy passed after that. How do we get the community to vote? They have to know you're serious. Idle threats aren't going to get it done. Why aren't we looking into other areas to cut? At some point, the community has to take responsibility. It can't be the school board. It can't be the teachers. It has to be the community. All right, and all I'm going to say is, when we go to negotiations here in August, there are many ways to skin a cat. Think outside the box. There are many ways to compensate these fine people. It's not all about money. But you got to be willing to think outside the box. It's not us against you. It's us together to make Springfield better for everybody. And that's I just hope that when we come and talk in August, please be open. to thinking outside the box. Don't be caught in the box we're in. This has been going on for 30-some years. Why? Because we are stuck in this box in the way we think about things. Okay? And that's all I ask, and that's all I wanted to say. Thanks.
Hi, Carrie Franks, 168 Highland Avenue, Wadsworth, Ohio. I'm a counselor at Schropp, and I'm also vice president of Springfield Cares, and I'm actually here to make a quick, easy announcement that our Springfield Cares annual backpack and school supply giveaway is Saturday, July 29th from 9 to 12. And this year it has to be at Lakemore United Methodist Church. Instead, it usually is at the municipal building. I just want to encourage all the teachers, you can reach out to your students, but it's our annual giveaway. We've given away as many as 350 to 500 backpacks. A parent has to be with the child, and we give appropriate ones for high school, the see-through ones or the net, and then the other schools we have a variety of backpacks that the students actually get to come in and pick the one they want. So just wanted to make that announcement for those that are viewing, and also teachers, if you have some students that you can reach out to that have the need, please do that.
Karen,
Yes.
you send it to us.
Yeah, you send
You
us
send it to us, we'll
Yes.
blast it out.
Absolutely. Yes, they do have to bring an ID, a parent or an adult, like it can be a grandparent, but there has to be an adult with them, and they have to have an ID.
And it was
we
a
know
hu-
most
And it was a huge success last year.
Yes,
It was
yes.
a huge success last year.
Yes, we're grateful that you came and spent
Yes.
quite a long time with us, so thank you. Hopefully
You're
we'll see you
welcome.
there again.
Yes. No, I got this.
Hi there, my name is Tina Hartong. My address is 3781 Mayfair Road. I hadn't planned on speaking, so I'll make this very quick. A few things that were mentioned this evening sort of struck a chord. We know the financial issues. We know them. We've had many years of experience of being told time after time, there's no money, there's no money, there's no money. We understand that Springfield is in a unique situation. I got my property valuation today in my mailbox. My tiny house, those of you know I live in a tiny house. My mortgage went up $86 a month. So now my house, I've got an extra $1,032 bill this year. Where's that coming from? And we know you can't bleed a turnip, but we keep seeing if you change your insurance, you're going to save millions for the district. I was told not long ago, will you stop talking about the 2%? We're over that. You did that a long time ago. That 2% is still coming out of my paycheck, and everybody's here. And before I retire, it's $10,000 for me. And Mr. Stauffer showed up at one of our convocation days, and he made everybody here mad because he was talking about test scores, and he said, the problem is Springfield teachers are complacent. You guys remember we were told we were complacent? And he was right. Those complacent teachers, we gave the 2% because we thought it was the right thing, and we were complacent when we said, sure, we'll change our insurance, even though my bills are more now, and I continue to hear many of you say that. We did it for this district because we love it, but we can't be complacent anymore because my kids are suffering, and their kids are suffering, and it's not good for our students. There are creative ways, like Steve Schaefer just said, to settle this contract for us. There are ways. I hope those of you up here who haven't been part of the negotiation process, please ask tons of questions if you haven't already. We're trying to present a creative, outside-the-box opportunity for everyone to benefit. And ultimately, the number one group that's going to benefit is our students. I hope you take that to heart.
Are there any other, does anyone else wish to address them? Okay, seeing none, then motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Mr. Adams?
Ms. Terry?
Yes.
Mr. Ray? Yes. Mr. Petrie? Yes. Mr. Rowland?
Yes.
Mr. Hofer?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.